So the battle rating changes are on its way, and with it, quite a few that even I am kind of questioning, but have come to understand why. That's what we're gonna go ahead and talk about in today's Talking Head video, which, again, welcome back to it. It has been not too long since we last did one of these, but it has been a very good while since we've had one of these battle rating changes come up, at least in the normal fashion that we're used to. Now, in the past, Gaijin has been doing a very random one where they'll just up it in a small little update, such as the SU-25K going up from 9.3 to 9.7 respectively, probably within a day or two of it actually being released. But this time, Gaijin has done more than just move up a single vehicle. No, they're moving up not as many as you would think, but enough to really make you kind of wonder what is really going on with Gaijin. So with that being said, I will be having some gameplay in the background of the AGS, which is one of the vehicles that is going to be getting a significant change and has been getting significant changes over its lifetime, more recent, more so. But I do have to disrupt that gameplay because here we are in the actual battle changes, the battle rating changes sent up by Orson. I haven't seen this person, to be honest. I don't really lurk in the forums that much, but that's kind of a given for me because I would rather not, to be honest. Also, if you want to go ahead and see this for yourself in pure detail, I will have the link to this down in the description below, should you guys have any desire to go forward with it and just kind of nitpick what you like and what you don't like. I will be talking mostly about ground, but some of the air stuff and none of the naval. So let's move on. Now, this is the list. This is all of it, right? This is for the ground forces currently. Now, the PT-7657 is going up to battle rating 8.0. Red highlights up tier, green means down tiered or reduction in BR, and increase in BR in red, okay? So keep that in mind when you are reading this. I like this little change. Gaijin did a very good job doing this. I will be highlighting the realistic battle one as opposed to the arcade, as this is not an arcade channel. I do apologize for that. But again, if you want to see it yourself, list, description, you know. But there we go, 8.0, right where it belongs in my opinion, because 7.7 was kind of a rough area for it. Now here's one I don't necessarily agree with. The Merkava Mark 2D is going up from 9.0 to 9.3. This is a premium vehicle, one for which I do not agree with it going up, because in truth, it's a very simple vehicle to kill. It's very slow. Its firepower is, I guess, for the BR, pretty standard. I would say it's a little bit subpar because you do have DM-33-105 very common there, which will spank the Merkava very easily, I promise you. So it moving up to 9.3, not necessarily something I agree with. I understand why they're doing it, but again, not really ish in my opinion. Also, the Type 59 and the 59A are going down to 7.7. This I entirely agree with because they do have a stabilizer, but I think it's a one-plane stabilizer last I checked. So I can check a little bit later, which means that the turret traverse on this is absolutely terrible. I think it's about, 8 degrees at the very most, which is very bad. So I understand that, but the problem with this is that you get to fight against, say, the mouse, which it will be destroyed very easily by its heat FS. Now, this has a very good heat FS on a stabilized platform. Not something I entirely agree with, but seeing that this vehicle is basically a slightly souped up T-54, I can understand why Gaijin is moving this up. So going down the list a little bit more, we have, of course, the little, what is this? This little, is it the 75 one? I completely forget. I don't think it is, to be honest, but whatever. Little Puma, 3.0, cool. T-34s going up, 4.0, 4.0. Panzer 3M to 3.3, don't really agree with that, but then again, I don't play too much of this down tier, or low tier, excuse me. This Skink going up to battle rating 5.0. I saw this coming from a mile away because that thing is very, very good for its BR. Moving it up to 5.0. In fact, I think this is going to be the low end of the Skink moving up into BR. I think this is going to be about a 5.7 vehicle at some point a little bit later in its lifetime. Also, we have the IS-2s, which I am sorry to say, to those who enjoy the IS-2s at 5.7, they are now going up to battle rating 6.0 for the Chinese. I don't know if this applies to the Russians. I could be entirely wrong, but 6.0, kind of yikes in my opinion. And next up, we have the Object 248, which is the latest Battle Pass vehicle from 6.3 to 6.7. I agree with this. The BR-412B is, I think it's the 412B, is a very good shell, and it does spank even Panthers in the upper front plate very efficiently, I would think. And next up, we have another good change. Well, actually, excuse me, before we get to that, the Panther A going down from 55 kilometers to 46 power from 700 to 600. I think that's the horsepower on the engine. That is kind of a shame right there. Kind of a given, I guess. I'm not going to really fight that, but it is what it is. But here is the M163 and the Havette. Now, the Havette is the exact same thing as the 163, so they are exactly the same. Don't worry about that. Battle rating 7.7 from 8.0. I agree with this entirely because if you saw my previous video with the Magash 6C, trust me, it sucks. It can get the job done. It can work, but holy crap, is that thing, even if you face it in a moderately protected vehicle, it's not really going to do too much to you, so I understand that. But the next couple of changes are going to be very, very interesting. The Striker is going up in battle rating from battle rating 9.7 to 10.0. I kind of agree with that. M900 is a very good shell type. This is a very fast vehicle for the most part, but it's really, in my opinion, kind of reaching its limits of efficiency because at 9.0, it was overbearing. Bar none. At 9.7, I thought, and I still think to this day, it's a very well-rounded area for it because you have a vehicle that has very piss poor performing armor. Its mobility is what you would expect from a wheeled vehicle with a heavy chassis with low power to weight ratio, which is unfortunate, but I didn't really kind of see a problem with it. But moving it up to battle rating 10.0 is kind of a rough area for it, in my opinion. So this one is definitely one that I do not agree with. I understand it for balancing purposes, but not necessarily for the efficiency of the vehicle itself. And next up, we have the M1A1. Now, for the longest time, I did not agree with the M1A1 having it only M829 as its top tier shell because in the real world, it can fire M829A1 and A2. I'm pretty sure it can also fire A3 and A4, but that is, for balancing purposes. It could, in real life, fire M829A1. Again, for the battle rating 10.3, I understood it, but having the IPM1, having M900 at a higher BR when the M1A1 is supposed to be an improved version of the IPM1, it's the exact same thing, just with a 120 instead of a 105, didn't really make sense to me. Now, Gaijin has rectified that by giving the M1A1 its M829A1 APFSDS, and also at the same time moving it up in rank and in battle rating, so it'll now sit at top tier alongside the M1A2, the HC, etc., and sit at battle rating 10.7. This is something I agree with. I don't mind it, and I hope Gaijin does a little bit more to balance out the Abrams just a little bit further for their benefits. And then we have the AGS, which is what you've been seeing in the background of this video. It's going up from battle rating 9.7 to 10.0, but the C76A1 is being replaced with the M774. Now, the M774 has about 15 to 20 millimeter overall in the 0, 30, and 60 degree penetration, which means that this vehicle is going to be a little more efficient with its firepower, but it did also receive a buff in this update where it, I believe, had an increase of engine power a little bit, or it was just the armor weight reduction, or the weight of the vehicle itself reduction, excuse me, which means that the power to weight ratio is now, I think, better than that of even the Leopard 2K. Someone told me. I don't really believe that. So having a vehicle such as the AGS get a buff in a reduction in weights and now having better firepower alongside better mobility means that this vehicle was inevitably going to move up to battle rating 10.0, to which I would say I understand it. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this too much in my opinion, but it kind of is what it is. It puts it on par with that of the Abrams in a much smaller profile and being an event vehicle, which is not easy to acquire nowadays. Now, moving down just a little bit more, that is pretty much it. The Ersatz M10 is in arcade going up to 6.0. The TV, or the T5, is going up to 6.0. And the Dauphine, the Panther Dauphine French, is also going up to 6.0 in arcade. But this is where things get just a little bit more interesting when we move over to aviation. Now, I won't go into detail about the arcade stuff. That's kind of a given right there. But here is two things I do not agree with. The A10A Late and the A10A are both going up respectively from 10.0 to 10.3 and 9.7 to 10.0. Now, if you didn't know, the A10 recently got a nerf. The APFSDS belt, I think it was APFSDS, I forget, regular belt for the gun on it was removed and replaced with APCR. Yeah, that's right. It went down from about 110 millimeter penetration, I believe it was, to around 93 now, which means that you have a vehicle that is not overly effective even for its own battle rating unless it's a very specific time of the game. and now it is going up in battle rating from 10.0 to 10.3, at least for the tech tree variant. I'm going to tell you right now, the A10, in my honest opinion, cannot fight in top tier, simply because of SAM systems, which make very easy work of these vehicles. That aircraft is incredibly slow. It's more of an aircraft that you have to use during the low intensity moments in the game itself, which is beyond the halfway point, meaning that your entire team has all the objectives and they're currently on their way to spawn gank the enemy. That is when the A10 is well suited, as opposed to bringing it out early game and getting ganked by, say, the 2S6, the ITO, the ADATs in a mixed game, etc. So having Gaijin nerf this vehicle's firepower while simultaneously moving it up in battle rating is something I do not agree with, seeing that at least to some degree, the SU-25K is superior to the A10. However, I would kind of not use that argument in a good fight, I guess. However, I will leave that part of that to you in the comments section, and everything else for that matter as well. Now, as you can see right here, the F100 is going down in BR. All the F100s are going down. J32B, which is one of my favorite vehicles, is going down to 9.3. Just Gaijin, it started off at 9.0. You did 9.3, then 9.7, and now back to 9.3. Pick a place for it and leave it there, would you? And then we have the rest. We have the F4D, the F2H, the F89B, all going down to 9.0, 8.0, 7.0, the SK60B, which is annoying as hell to fight, down to 7.0, and then everything else for that matter. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to naval, there's naval. Cool, boat, go up in BR. Awesome. Anyways, so that's really it to when it comes down to all of the changes happening for War Thunder, especially for the higher tier environment and some of the low tier stuff. What do you guys think about these changes? Do you agree with it? Do you not agree with them? Maybe it's something you could or you want to change, which this is now your time to do it, because in that link that shows you all of this, you can leave your feedback in the thread. That's right. There's a link down below that you can click inside of there, and you can discuss in pure detail whether or not you agree or disagree with this. Now, if there is enough traction from you in the community, you can change this. That's right. If there's enough of you, you can get them to not implement a certain change, but you have to use your voice. You have to speak up altogether in order for for Gaijin to hear you. And thankfully, being a creator, I don't really have to do that right now, because maybe they'll watch my video and see my opinions on it, but I'll try to throw in my own 2 cents as I seize it a little bit later today anyway. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Again, down in the comment section below, let me know exactly what you think about the changes. Do you agree with it? Do you not? Feel free to voice out your opinion, and I will add my 2 cents. And if you disagree with my opinions here, let me know. I like to open up some dialogue with you guys, because why the hell not? This is YouTube after all. It's not like they censor everything, right? That's sarcasm, by the way. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this talking head, and I will see you not only in the next video or even the streams, but in War Thunder itself. And happy event grinding, guys. I know the crafting events kind of suck, but you're almost done. So until next time.